Brilliant little movie. This is a short film, and of course it stars Stan Laurel and Oliver Hardy. Legends, welcome to a new episode here in Coins Age Media. I am your host, Rodney Stewart. We're getting into another Laurel and Hardy, reviewing this one. It's from disc 20 in the DVD box set. All these classic shorts are to do with brushes with the law. And this one is Habeas Corpus from, what year was this? 1929. Brilliant little movie. This is a short film, and of course it stars Stan Laurel and Oliver Hardy, along with Richard Gere, Charlie Rogers and Charles A. Bachman. It is absolutely brilliant. Now, in the past, I tended to skip over the silent films. I've got no idea why. I don't know. Just the silent films didn't really appeal to me. But this one here, this is the first time I've actually watched it, and I absolutely laughed my ass off virtually the whole way through it. It's only 20 minutes long. Basically, mad Professor Padilla, played by Richard Carl, is he's a mad scientist whose plans have drawn an interest of the police. His latest scheme is to perform a medical experiment on a corpse. Stan and Ollie by chance happen to arrive at the professor's home in search of a free meal. The professor offers Stan and Ollie $500 if they will steal the body from the graveyard so he can work on it for his experiment. They reluctantly agree, head off to do it, but his butler is a police informant, and he calls the headquarters, and basically a bunch of policemen turn up at the house, arrest the professor, and the butler is sent to the graveyard to try and thwart any plans for stealing the corpses. It's Charlie Rogers as Ledoux that is sent to the graveyard. There's not so much comedy in that first few minutes where they're setting up the storyline of, they come to the door, ask for a free meal, they get brought on, they're offered the $500, sent off, the police come and arrest this guy. But see, once the duo hit the graveyard to try and steal a body, you're talking probably at this stage of the short film, we're about 5 minutes deep. For the last 15 minutes of this film, it's just one slapstick gag after the other. You get a little bit of the classic hat mix-up scenario in there. There is a brilliant sequence where at one point they get trapped outside the graveyard as Ledoux is in there trying to freak them out. He's dressed in like a white sheet over him and trying to scare them, as to kind of make them believe that he's a ghost. They run from the graveyard, and like a night security officer is in there as well, and he locks up the gates, and there's a sequence where they're trying to climb over a wall to get back into the graveyard again. This kills about maybe 2 or 3 minutes of Oliver bending over, Stanley climbing onto his back, trying to get up over the top of this wall, and then eventually Oliver tries to stand up straight to help Stanley get a little bit more height, and Stanley's on his shoulders trying to climb up over the top. And that doesn't sound like it could be funny in the slightest, but this is Stan Laurel and Oliver Hardy we're talking about here. Absolutely first-rate comedy in this one. At one point, Oliver takes a run towards the wall to try and jump over it and crashes right through the wall. Now, I'm not stupid. I know a lot of these things in these movies are props, and this wall collapsing with Oliver running through it is 100% most likely prop bricks and whatnot, but it did look like it hurt that man bad when he done it. That's very out of sequence. There's a part before that where Oliver is outside the wall. Stanley gets the scare of his life in the graveyard while he's digging a grave, and this undercover policeman dressed up as a ghost has sneaked into the hole that he was previously digging on, and Stanley goes down under the shovel, and he turns around and this sheet rises up in the air behind him, and he freaks out. He runs towards this wall and clears it in one jump. Cartoon stuff. And I've said it before in the past in these reviews, Stan Laurel and Oliver Hardy are just flesh and blood cartoon characters. The stuff they do and get up to in these movies is absolutely brilliant. And, it's stuff that you would only ever see in cartoons most of the time. By the end of the film, they reckon they've stolen a body, but it's the undercover policeman. He's in this white sack over Stanley's back. And while he's walking down the street, he's got this over his shoulder, and he's walking, and he's hunched over, and the the bottom of this thing bursts open, and these two legs come out, and it's the undercover policeman in there, and he starts walking step for step with Stanley, and when he discovers this, he realises we've dug up a fresh one, a very, very fresh one. It's still living. And they freak out and run for their lives. That kind of closes the film off. But there is, at the end of it, there's the giant puddle joke to close up the end of this film, where Oliver steps off the sidewalk into the street and there's a little puddle there, but he disappears on it 100%. It's a joke that pops up countless times in Laurel and Hardy movies, but this one here has done fantastically well, and Stanley ends up dropping the corpse, as they believe, into the puddle along with Ollie, and Oliver's like, where's the remains at? And Stanley points into the puddle with Oliver, and this figure rises up out of it, and the two of them, Oliver jumps out of the puddle onto the sidewalk, the two of them run off screaming. That is a very, very swift and probably not a very interesting review on this short film, but it's definitely one of these ones that you need to watch. You need to see it for yourself to actually really appreciate this one. I could tell you beat for beat everything that happens within this movie, and would definitely not do it justice. And I do believe this review could have been a heck of a lot better, but I didn't want to spoil it for you. I really didn't. As I did say at the very beginning here, I've tended to in the past skip over the silent ones because, I don't know if it's just the fact that I didn't grow up with those sort of movies. Like, everything that I've ever watched is from a young child right up to adult life was all colour and sound movies. But the old black and white silent movies never really appealed to me. But, just for the sake of going through this box set and reviewing this stuff for you guys, I actually took the time to sit down and check out these short films. And the silent ones are absolute gold. So if you get hold of the Laurel and Hardy box set, definitely check them all out. And again, it's worth every penny to buy this box set. It's nowhere near a waste of money. And yes, we're going to get another one of these done tomorrow.